The Mafia makes millions of dollars every single day. And even though we've heard about them doing illegal things like gambling, loan sharking, and extortion, most of their money comes from legit businesses. The tricky part for law enforcement is that because these are legitimate businesses, there's no obvious sign that they have mob ties. But there are some common ways that mafias launder the money they make from these businesses. So here are 6 of the most common ways the mafia launders millions through legit businesses. Number 1. Casinos. It's almost common knowledge at this point that organized crime groups make huge amounts of money through casinos. The reality is that it's very easy to skim money off the top when you're rerunning a casino. A lot of people gamble in casinos without keeping track of what they win or lose. So it is not hard to keep a few extra bucks here or there for yourself without being noticed. Furthermore, the hazy nature of gambling means that if you lose a bunch of money at a casino, you can just chalk it up to a bad beat rather than theft. This is why many casinos are owned by the mafia. In fact, the largest mafia families in the United States got their start through illegal gambling dens. While gambling was outlawed in the US, the mafia saw an opportunity to make lots of money. So they started running illegal lotteries, poker games, and sports betting rings. This was extremely profitable for the families. And once they made enough money, they used it to get into legitimate businesses like restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. These businesses would then become fronts for their illegal operations, allowing them to launder their money and avoid detection from law enforcement. One of the biggest examples of this is the Genovese crime family. This group was founded in 1937 after a violent turf war between rival gangs. They quickly became one of the most powerful families in the mafia, and they held this position for decades. A big reason for this was that they were early adopters when it came to gambling. They set up illegal lotteries, race fixing, and sports betting in the 1940s. And they used the money they made to establish legitimate businesses like nightclubs and restaurants. These businesses allowed them to move their dirty money and stay under the radar. By the 1950s, they had become so powerful that they were able to buy legal casinos in Las Vegas. The most famous example of this was the Stardust Resort and Casino. The Genovese family bought the Stardust in 1956. At the time, they didn't have enough money to buy it outright, so they paid $2 million down and promised to pay the rest over the next few years. However, they never ended up paying the full purchase price, and the casino was raided multiple times due to their illegal activities. Despite this, the family profited hugely from the venture, and they continued buying casinos in Vegas throughout the 60s. Moving on at number 2, trash collection. You might be surprised to hear that trash collection is one of the most lucrative industries out there. In fact, the largest trash collection companies in the US do billions of dollars worth of business each year. With numbers like that, it's no surprise that the mafia has gotten in on the action. The truth is that collecting garbage is a perfect front for a bunch of criminal activity. For starters, people don't really care who's collecting their trash as long as it gets done. This means that the mafia can operate with very little oversight. Additionally, most garbage collectors work alone. This makes it easy for them to collect money and goods without raising any suspicion. It also makes it easier for them to intimidate other criminals and business owners who get in their way. Probably the most infamous mafia-run trash collection company is the Colombo crime family's automated waste collection. This New York-based company was founded in 1981, and it quickly became one of the most successful waste management companies in the country. At its peak in the late 80s, the company did $30 million worth of business every year. However, the family's control over the company became obvious after several mobsters were arrested for extortion. After this, the company was raided, and investigators found that most of their financial records were missing. Eventually, the company was shut down, and the family lost their lucrative source of income. Next up, at No. 3, construction. Construction is another industry where it's possible to make millions of dollars, and it's also another industry that's rife with opportunities to launder money. The reality is that the construction industry is largely unregulated, and there's a lot of room for fraud. This means that mobsters can easily hide their ill-gotten gains in construction projects without drawing attention to themselves.